everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm out today in winter, obviously. We've got a slight covering of snow, which is really good, and I'm planning on going on a reasonable hike today. So I'm trying to travel quite light in terms of equipment. Obviously, making videos, you're forced to carry some additional equipment. But in regards to my photography equipment, for the gear I'm going to use to take photographs today, I'm trying to travel as light as possible. So I'll talk a little bit more about that as the video goes on. But for now, I'm going to head in this direction. I'm going to try and gain some height and hopefully get a nice view over the surrounding countryside and see what type of photographs I can get. But as you may see behind me, there's not a footprint at all. I'm the only person here, so hopefully the conditions will turn out quite nice and I'll get a few nice photographs. So I'm making good progress. I've gained quite a bit of height, and there's this little unusual section here which I've just stopped at briefly to talk about the equipment I'll be using today. This is the only part that I've seen in which the path that I'm going on has not had snow. The snow is getting quite a bit deeper than at the beginning as I gain height, but there's this huge tree here which is providing some shelter, so it's very unusual. This little area here's not got any snow, and all around me there's quite a covering. But anyway, as I talked about at the beginning of the video, I'm off on a hike today, and one of my priorities is obviously to try and keep the weight of my equipment down. And I imagine some of you who are watching are purely interested in photography, so I would have exactly the same approach if I was just out to do photography today. Obviously, because I'm filming this, I've got some extra equipment with me. I've got a second camera, I've got a second tripod, I've got a drone, a number of drone batteries, a couple of microphones, audio recording equipment, and so on. But forgetting all that, if I was just out today to take photographs, which is my primary objective, and I wasn't carrying any video equipment, I would still be very interested in trying my best to keep my equipment down. So I've got my Nikon Z7 II camera as usual. I've been using that one for quite a few months now and I really like it. And I've got the Z24 to 200mm lens. And I feel very confident that I'll be able to capture almost any image that I like the look of today, or any scene that I like the look of. I'll be able to take a photograph with that lens. Of course, once I get higher, maybe I'll benefit from having a 400mm lens. I may see something, a really nice view with some really interesting foreground, and I wish I could maybe go to 20mm or so, but that's going to be quite uncommon for that to happen for me. Generally speaking, 24 to 200 is a fantastic focal length range, and just to have that on the camera at all times, not worry about changing lenses. I can see something off in the distance, take a telephoto shot, see a wider scene, take something at say 24, 30mm, and of course we've got everything in between as well. So it's just a fantastic lightweight lens, a lightweight kit for carrying on days such as this, which I think is really, really important. And quite importantly as well, it still produces really nice quality images. So that's what I'm going to be using today to take my photographs. But for now, I'm going to keep going because I've still got a long way to reach the top. So it looks to me like this tree's been cut quite recently, perhaps in the last couple of weeks, I'm guessing by the look of it. and I just noticed the actual tree sap coming out the bottom. It's just glistening in the light. So behind me here, you may be able to see this hill off in the distance. That's where I'm hoping to head to today. So I've still got quite a bit to go. But as I approached here, I quite liked the look of what I was seeing in the distance, and I thought it would be a nice opportunity to capture a memory of today, show the path that I'm going on and where I'm hoping to end up. Now, the sun is up at the top left, and although I could always see it, there was a thin layer of cloud in front of it. So for the first time today, you start to lose some of the blue skies. There's a bit more cloud developing, and the light was certainly much more subdued, a little bit overcast at times. So I've had to wait quite a while until I got a little bit of light which complemented the scene. But anyway, I've got this pathway stretching off to the hill. There were no footprints on it at all, apart from some animal tracks, and I really like those winding off into the distance. We've got a really interesting sky behind the hill, and the light when it came out I think was quite nice for the scene. Not too bright, but definitely enough just to give it a little bit of a lift. So I think that was quite good. I'll show you the image that I've captured, but as always, when you're out hiking and you're trying to get somewhere, you need to be mindful of your time. So I never like to rush taking photographs, but I think I've spent enough time here and it's now time to head on. So I'm nearing the top of my climb, and it's been a fair challenge in these difficult conditions. It's certainly getting colder. There's much more snow now, and the sky just behind the camera is incredibly dark and overcast and grey. But over to my left, there's a little bit of light and colour in the sky, so that's good. But yeah, it's difficult wading through deep snow. I've been off paths a bit, try to take care where I go obviously, but sometimes you put your foot down and then it sinks another couple of feet and you need to quickly steady yourself before you fall over. But yeah, I'm going to keep going, and a final push and I'll be at the top. I've made it to the top. It's been quite a hike and obviously the temperature has dropped. And I definitely don't think we're going to get much of a sunset. The sun, as you may have seen in some of the video I took on the way up here, is up to the top right of the screen as you're looking at the moment. You may find it hard to see now, it's behind the clouds, but there's an awful lot of cloud over that direction. And I've been grabbing this shot here when I arrived because I suspected that there is a chance the sun won't appear again. Hopefully it will, but there's still a bit of mood around here. We've got these snow-covered hills off in the distance here. We've got the summit, and the sun was quite nicely positioned in my composition up the top right. So a very remote feeling image, a feeling that you're out in an area where there's no one else within miles. Lots of atmosphere in the distant hill, so I wanted to capture that. We've also got some boulders scattered around the cairn here as well. Now the sun is completely gone. I can't see it at all up in the sky. I have no idea where it is, so I'm going to have a look around. There's maybe some potential for maybe one or two other moody images, but I need to explore, so that's what I'm going to do now. So we're basically touching sunset now, but there's going to be no sunset. It's freezing cold, it's bleak, and there's a strong wind. There's also been some almost sleet at times as well. I've had a look around the ground that I'm on. The foreground has got no interest, there's no light on it, so I decided to focus further away. And I don't really have any colour or light to work with. There's a tiny glow off in the distance, but what I'm trying to work with are shapes and contrast and the tiny bit of glow I've got from light hitting the snow off in the distance. So I'm working with a hill off in the distance. There's a bit of snow on it, but it's much darker. There's less snow on it than on the hills behind, so there's contrast and it stands out. And I'm trying to build a nice composition around that. Most likely it'll be a 16:9 aspect ratio. Speaking about the Z24-200 lens, it's been fantastic to have that lightweight kit with me and be able to take photographs today without changing lens. And I've shot across the focal length, so I've shot quite wide. I've shot, I think, something at 200mm today, and for this one I'm at roughly 140mm. And because the lens is extended and it's so wild up here, there is vibration in the camera, so I'm trying to use quite a fast shutter speed and also shield the camera and lens as well. But it's bitterly cold, as you can probably tell. Video doesn't put that fully across, but looking at what's around me here, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see that. So I'm going to get packed up and head down. I'll get the head torch on and head off and make it back to the car. So thank you as always for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the video, do consider giving it a thumbs up, consider sharing the video and subscribe to my channel to see more content. But for now, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon in the next one. So as I'm starting to head back now, you can see the snow is starting to fall quite heavily. Unfortunately, the light has gone, so I won't be taking any more photographs. It's incredibly overcast, as you can probably see, but yeah, it'll be fun walking back in a winter wonderland in the dark. Anyway, see you in my next one.